Good evening, everyone. It's about 10 o'clock. I was at work today. I told Brianna, don't shoot a video. I want to do a little book review tonight. So I'm just hanging out in the kitchen and baking cinnamon rolls. I got home from work. I wanted to eat something sweet. So I threw together a really quick yeast dough and let it rise. First though, I wanted to show you some crazy eggs. Have you ever seen an egg this big? Let me pull out one of the smaller eggs that the chickens routinely lay and show you these in comparison. This is a massive double yolker egg. You don't often see double yolk eggs, or you never see an egg like that at the grocery store. Let's crack it open and just check out what it looks like on the inside. There's definitely two yolks in there. I broke one of them. When I saw this giant egg, and interestingly we've gotten a couple of them in the past few weeks, the first question I had is, can you have twin chicks? And I looked it up online. It turns out the answer is yes. Now, they rarely survive. Usually one kind of gets weaker and weaker and the other one might hatch, but they usually both die. But sometimes you actually have twin chicks hatch out of double yolker eggs. So double yolk eggs happen when two yolks basically ovulate at the same time and get inside the same shell. And it tends to happen with new layers. So pullets who have just started laying, they haven't really got synchronized. I've also heard it can happen with older chickens. And they're kind of out of rhythm, so to speak, and they start laying these massive eggs. That's a very special sound. And it means it's time to eat cinnamon rolls.
Can I chew? Is that okay?
I'm actually going to shamelessly steal Diego Footer of Permaculture Voices podcast. I'm going to steal his introduction to his interview with the authors of this book, Shawn and Beth Dougherty. And he read this section at the beginning of his podcast. That podcast, by the way, is Permaculture Voices Grass-Fed Life number 51, called Beyond Homesteading. I highly recommend listening to that podcast if you want a free version of some of this information and philosophy. Here we go. This is from the introduction. When we bought the Sow's Ear, the name of their farm, in 1996 and began the process of turning it into a family smallholding, we followed the usual path of neophyte homesteaders. We put in a garden, several gardens, bought chickens, acquired goats. We picked up how-to books on animal husbandry and organic vegetable growing. We ate lots of tomatoes, collected eggs from our flock of brown leghorns, drank goat's milk. It was fun and our diets underwent a significant improvement, but we began to be conscious of a vague unease. Was what we were doing really farming? Something told us, as we lugged sack after sack of laying mash and sweet feed from the station wagon to the barn, that this importation of concentrated nutrients, many of them genetically modified, was not farming. This little section just sums up some of the philosophy in this book, and the book goes on to explore the incredible potential for a farm that's based around a grass-fed animal, specifically a cow. It also explores how you can use the cow's ability to turn grass into protein and fat to feed your other animals. And it's kind of the answer. This book is kind of the answer to the question that I've had for so long of how do you do this if you don't just have a bunch of money to buy animal food? What if that's not the way you want to do it? So the Independent Farmstead really explores that question. I'm not going to say it has all the answers, but it explores that question. If you're interested in growing chickens, growing pigs, and having not necessarily a self-sufficient but an independent farmstead where you're really producing more of your animal food and you are a source, not just an intermediary between corn growers and your animals, then you should check out this book. We will link it in our video description below this video. I highly recommend you check it out. It's a really good read. It has a lot of great technical information about basic water systems, rotational grazing, pigs, chickens, cows, and just kind of their philosophy on regenerating old abused land. That's actually going to be it for today. So thank you all for listening. As I shared a little bit about my favorite book and eggs and cinnamon rolls. That was another great day on the homestead.